Welcome to Snetterton and the final round of the JMT Monoposto F3 2000 and Classic Championships here this weekend. Two races to look forward to and an F3 class. The championship still up for grabs with three drivers all in with a shout of getting the championship position this year. Ben Cater, Tony Bishop and Chris Hodgen are the three to watch out for. In terms of the grid, it's Tony Bishop who starts from pole position. Ashley Dibden, the man in the mix here to watch out for alongside. And then back on row number 2, it's David Gillet and Ben Cater to watch out for as well. And row 3, Chris Hodgen and James Harris. So all three championship contenders inside the first 3 rows. 15 minutes of racing are about to get underway. Red lights on. And away we go then with this Monoposto race. Who makes the best of the starts? Looks like our pole man, Tony Bishop. One unfortunately not going anywhere from the grid. We'll find out who that is a little bit later on. As round the outside goes, number 94, Ashley Dibden from the start, takes our pole man round the outside at Richie's corner. Ashley Dibden, as I said, the man in the mix, really not as a championship contender, is the man who's got the first place up towards the Wilson hairpin for the first time. Tony Bishop has slotted down into what's going to be second position, and let's see if Ben Cater's made any progress from the start. Yes, he has. It looks like he's up into third place. David Gillet is in fourth, and Chris Hodgen was there in fifth place. The red and white machine that sits just off the tail of David Gillet, and already trying to make a move then to the inside. Agostini on this first lap. Does he go through? Chris Hodgen gets the inside line. David Gillet tries to hold on right round the outside on the exit of the corner, and we'll see which order they've come through in. As slightly wide there goes, or nearly goes, number 89 James Drew Williams, who qualified down in 16th position. A little bit of smoke as they work their way on towards Hamilton for the first time. Oh, and there's someone off there as well. That is David Gambling by the looks of it. Just going for a bit of grass track at Snetterton, which is never good, especially when there's a bit of tarmac you want to be using. So David Gambling gets himself back onto the circuit. Meantime, rest of the pack work their way through Williams for the first time of asking. And our leader, Ashley Dibden, leads by quite a margin already at the end of the first half of the lap. Second is Tony Bishop through the pitch up. Third place is the quick starting number 82, Ben Cater. And then the rest of the order just outside the top 5 work their way through in towards Brundle and Nelson. You can see number 48 in the mix there, which is the car which has made fairly good progress. That's James Harris in one of the Formula Renaults, just in front of number 84, which is Jackie Liu. And who else have we got in the mix here? It looks like we've got Kevin Otway as well in number 44. There is one of our championship contenders. That is Ben Cater, championship leader, coming here this weekend on 130 points. The man who sits second within this race and second in the championship, that is Tony Bishop, 120 points. And the man who still could do something about those two is Chris Hodgen, the man who just goes through your shot there in the red and white machine. He had 118 points before this weekend. 74 works his way across the line. That's Marcus Sherd, who started 19th on the grid. And again, within Monoposto racing, many different classes to watch out for. This race caters for the F3 machines, the 2000s, and also the classics as well. So different classes fighting with different people out there. There is one of those, number 99, working his way down towards Palmer, Matt Jordan, who has just been passed on this lap by the number 36 car by the looks of it, which is Mike Hatton. So those two continue to squabble down towards Agostini, but a long train now starting to build, and one of the F3 Lolas goes through the picture there. There's Matt Jordan fighting back as they work their way through. In fact, that's Terry Clark in car number 32, so that's the man who's dropped down from 9th on the grid. So Terry trying to work his way back through the order, which he's trying to do, but in the process he's being hounded by all of these people around him who seem to be a little bit quicker. Mark Drew was the other man in the picture there as well, car number 38. And the other thing to bear in mind as well, qualifying was a little bit damp this morning, so we might find a few people out of position from where they used to be in and working their way back through the field if they've got a quicker car in these dry conditions as we have now. There is number 70, Chris Hodgen, all over the back of Ben Cater. Now, realistically for Chris Hodgen, he needs to finish ahead of Ben Cater and Tony Bishop to have a chance of winning the championship. At the minute, he sits at the back of both of them. Still, they're in 4th place, which will give him a few handy points to close up that gap before the end of the first race. He'll be looking to try and get past Ben Cater as best he possibly can. At the end of that lap, the gap not much at all, just over a second between 3rd and 4th. In terms of the gap out front, that has extended already to 2.3 seconds. So Ashley Dibden, car number 94, lap by lap, just adding a few tenths of a second to the lead of this race. Here comes a mix of different class cars through. There's Formula Renaults in there, as we said, one of those being The number 48 machine, which turns its way through Richie's corner. That is James Harris, who is having a good squabble with number 84, Jackie Lou, both of those in Formula Renaults. Just up the road, slightly older machine there of number 44, which is Kevin Otway. Again, a long-time runner within Monoposto Racing. He sits at the minute down in what's going to be 9th position, so just inside the top 10 for him, ahead of number 84 as well in there, which is the car driven for this weekend once again, which is Jackie Lou. So all of those fighting amongst themselves. A few gaps now just starting to form within this race. Slight lock up there as well from the 84 machine as he turns his way through Agostini. Powers on towards the left-hander at Hamilton. Jackie Lou stand ahead for now of James Harris. Bringing back the days there of the old Formula Renault Championship. Here's our battle for third once more. Ben Cater yet to shake off the likes of Chris Hodgen in car number 70. So they work their way through the bomb hole. Chris Hodgen has a slightly newer Dallara from 2004, whereas Ben Cater is running with the machine from 2001, so 3 years difference between these two cars as they work their way through. So you'd pretty much expect Chris Hodgen's car to be a little bit quicker, but it all depends on how they've been set up, what tuning has been done to them as well, and of course it's all about driver ability within these races and what circuit suits the drivers more as well. There's David Gillet running on his own at the minute in car number 18. Very distinctive looking car there of David as he works his way through Richie's corner and on towards the Wilson hairpin. Black and white flag being held out there again, which is for either driving standards or track limits. One of the drivers just receiving that. Of course, if you get more than that, you'll then get time added to your race distance as a penalty. To look a little bit lower down the pack at the minute, we can see the likes of number 38 coming through there, which is Mark Drew, and one of the cars also sounded a little bit ill in the process there, so I wonder if that'll get any further within that this race. Mark Drew, who started 11th but has dropped a long way down already, so that could be a car that's starting to suffer. Inside the top 10 there you can see the number 44 machine of Kevin Otway. The Formula Renault scrap continues as well between Jackie Lou and James Harris. Both of those cars on their way through Agostini. James Harris has lost a lot of ground since the start, so he has fallen down the order. So not the best of starts for him. Again, it could have been due to the qualifying session we had, where it's slightly damper. Jackie Lou just losing a little bit of ground there too, James Harris, as they turn away in towards Oggies. So James can breathe a sigh of relief for now as they work their way through. The right-hander at the Williams corner on towards the Bentley straight for another time. This is another battle starting to evolve now between number 38, which is the car of Mark Drew. I think he's just been passed, in fact, by the slightly quicker car that has just got through there. Number 56, that's Kevin Coulin. Unfortunately, he is into retirement down at Agostini. He's another man with a few mechanical problems by the looks of it. Doesn't seem he's had contact with anyone. And we can also pick up on this fight now, which is a fight for 6th position between number 5, first off, which is the car driven by Russ Giles, but he's been hounded all the time now by Hayden Edmonds. Started pretty much in the same positions on the grid here, so Russ Giles and Hayden Edmonds across the line they go on towards another lap. Again, that is the Formula Renault machine of Hayden Edmonds trying to chase down Russ in his Dallara from 1998, so a lot older than those that run towards the front. But those two work their way through in 6th and 7th places. Behind that is going to be number 89, which is James Drew Williams. Having a little bit of a lonely race for now is James, but still will pick up a few points in this race. Russ Giles heads his way now down towards Agostini, still with the attentions of Hayden to worry about here. Hayden takes a proper line through the corner there, whereas Russ Giles had to go defensive, which means he might be a little bit sluggish on the exit at the corner now. Down towards Hamilton they go. It's a bit of flame out the back of the car of Russ as he turns his way through the left-hander. Can Hayden Edmonds try anything down towards Oggies? Again, not quite close enough, although the gap does close. Corner by corner now. Hayden is getting a little bit further into the back of Russ Giles. Here comes our race leader then, Ashley Dibdom, who has now extended his lead to 2.5 seconds. Hasn't really changed over the last few laps. So Tony Bishop, a man who needs to win both of the races here this weekend to have a chance of catching Ben Cater within the championship. Bear in mind, of course, he was 10 points adrift before the weekend. He'll need to finish 2 or 3 places ahead of Ben Cater to have any chance of taking the championship away from Ben, as these two come up now towards the line. The fight for 6th and 7th, which continues between Russ Giles and Hayden Edmonds. So across the line they go once more, and let's see if Hayden could do anything in that number 87 car. Again, he's just lost a little bit of ground through the first couple of corners as they work their way on towards Wilson Hairpin. Russ Giles turns his car through nicely, so does Hayden Edmonds. Got no one really to worry about within this race. They're both doing a sterling job of keeping out of the way of other people. Here's Mike Hatton being chased now by James Harris. So James has managed to break away from Jackie Lou, and straight away after doing that he's got onto the tail of Mike Hatton, as we said. So Mike had a troubling qualifying session, found himself down in 18th place, but within this race he's already jumped up inside the top 10 or so places. So good job he's doing. Here's this fight still going on between Russ Giles and Hayden Edmonds as they work their way down through Hamilton on towards the right-hander at Oggies once more. Just wondering if they're starting to be caught now by number 89. I think that car is going to get closer into the mix here. That's James Drew Williams. He's just there in the background, you can see, as Hayden goes for a slight look down the inside at Williams on towards the Bentley straight. They head once more, and let's see if Hayden can challenge down towards Brundle and Nelson. There, as I mentioned, James Drew Williams in the background, and then just behind them looks to be the car of Kevin Otway, number 44, who is again trying his best to get ever closer to the front runners to finish with inside the top 10. Leader, by the way, at the minute, Ashley Dibden still leads by a good 2 seconds. Here comes Ross Giles in through the picture, in towards the final corner. Hayden Edmonds ever closer once more. Does he look for a move here? Well, Russ Giles is slow on the exit of the corner, so Russ Giles is going to be under attack surely from Hayden Edmonds as they power their way across the line. Oh, and Hayden's got a problem. He's starting to falter the car again, sounding a little bit ill health there. So through on the outside goes James Drew Williams, and is Hayden Edmonds going to continue? Well, he is for now, but if we just listen to the car, not sounding too good on the upshift there as it came onto the centre straight. Meantime, look at this, a gap that was just over 2 seconds is down to pretty much nothing now between Ashley Dibden and Tony Bishop. So Tony Bishop, he knows he needs to win both of the races here today at Snetterton, and in doing so he needs to get past Ashley Dibden as quickly as possible. Just ahead of them is one of the back markers, that's Matt Jordan, car number 99 in the Van Diemen, which I think should just about step aside on this occasion. So up towards the line they go. Not long left within this race now, so Tony Bishop needs to act very, very quickly. The gap last time, as I said, 2.2 seconds. This time round is down to 0.8 of a second, so it's been halved pretty much by Tony Bishop as they go around the outside of Matt Jordan. Well, they try to. Matt Jordan just gets in the way slightly there of Tony Bishop. Into retirement, by the way, we can see Mark Drew. So the ill-sounding car of Mark is now out of the race with just 1 lap to go, unfortunately, but he'll hopefully get that sorted for race number 2. But here comes the ever-present Tony Bishop, the blue and fluorescent yellow machine in second. Ashley Dibden in the predominantly light green car turns his way through Agostini, powers his way then on towards Hamilton. I think for now they've cleared the majority of the back markers, so nothing to worry about for the top 2. They can just go flat out and see if Tony Bishop can get a move done on Ashley Dibden. He looks very close through Oggies. Is he ever closer through Williams? Yeah, he's not too far back at all here, so Tony Bishop is going to have a couple of chances, I'd say, to try and get through as they work their way down towards Brundle. Is he going to be close enough, though, to dive for a move? But again, don't try anything too hasty, because Murray's is going to possibly be the best opportunity for Tony Bishop to try and move round the outside, or if he gets the inside line, he can try down the inside at Murray's. Through they come then, on towards the bomb hole for the final time. Tony Bishop's chances now are just starting to slip away. Ashley Dibden, has he just controlled this race enough to have enough left in the tank in towards the final couple of corners? Down towards Coram Curve they come. Ashley Dibden may just be able to do this. He was 0.8 of a second ahead on the last lap. Down through Murray as they go. Tony Bishop is just a little bit too far back, I think. It is a long straight here at Snetterton, but I think he's just going to fall short on this final lap. So it's going to be Ashley Dibden for the first of the wins in the Monoposto F3 2000s and Classics. And look how delighted he is. He's done enough just to keep ahead of Tony Bishop in the end by 0.6 of a second. So Tony Bishop tried his hardest, but in the end it was Ashley Dibden who just come through with enough in hand. Here's a final battle to watch out for as well. That's the number 96 car, which is just going to go a lap down here. Taylor McKeevan So up towards the line, Taylor comes, and in there somewhere should be one of our other front runners by the looks of it, as they take the checker flag a little bit lower down. And in fact, for Taylor, that is going to be a 5th in the 2000 class. Ashley Dibden, though, is your winner by 6/10 ahead of Tony Bishop. Ben Cater, our championship leader, comes through in 3rd place. Chris Hodgson managed to hold on to 4th. And it was David Gillet who rounds out your top 5 in this first Monoposto F3 2000 and Classic race. Behind them we had the likes of Russ Giles, James Drew Williams and Hayden Edmonds in 8th place, with that cracking fight with Kevin Otway and Mike Hatton to round out your top 10. But for now, the top 3 make their way to the podium. And again, there's going to be 3 very happy drivers by the looks of it. Handshake there from Ben Cater to Tony Bishop. Both of those, of course, fighting for the championship in what will be the last race of the weekend. But the man who takes the spoils at the top step of the podium, that is Ashley Dibden.
Conditions out on track, I guess, now are pretty much perfect.
Yeah, it was completely different to qualifying this morning. Yeah. Put a set of tyres on and hopefully it worked, and turned out it did.
It really did, yeah. Tell us about the start. That was going to be important, wasn't it?
Yeah, to be honest, I thought I'd messed the start up. The lights went out and I had to re-engage the clutch because I thought I was bogged down. And then it managed to just hook up and got next to Tony, so it worked out quite well.
It certainly did. Well, it worked out very well for you, Ashley. Many congratulations. Well done. Not so sure it worked out quite right for you, Tony.
No, it didn't, not quite. He got alongside me and we got to race and give each other space, so I had to tuck in a bit and then it was chasing him from there. I'd done my best and put a bit of pressure on, but the back markers didn't fall kindly for us. Just let him off at the end there, really. But
it was important. You really were pushing. You say you were pushing. You were really pushing. Took a couple of tenths off on the penultimate lap.
Yeah, it was pushing, but to be honest, he was pretty good under pressure. It was only turn 2 he was struggling with, and when I did get to him, the back marker got between us and gave him another 20 metres, so it was all over then.
Oh, well done, Tony. 2nd step of the podium, and this championship, Ben Cater stays alive.
Thankfully, nothing's caught fire.
Yeah. How is the car?
The car was fine. I flat spotted the tyres like an idiot on the warm-up lap, just trying to get a bit of heat into them. Right. So I couldn't even read my dash, it was vibrating that much.
Oh, that's the problem.
And we got a bit unlucky with a few back markers, so Chris actually got past me on the way into, it used to be called Melbourne, what's it called now? 2nd corner anyway. Yeah. And but then he went wide on the exit, so thankfully I got back and he kept the pressure on, but we finished up in 3rd.
Yeah, top man.
So that's race 1 of the JMT Monoposto F3 2000s and Classics. There's more to come in race number 2, with the top 2 now separated by just 7 points as Ben Cater heads Tony Bishop in the final race of the season. You can catch race 2 on the Race Television YouTube channel.